Hello, it is I, Cade and Mike. Before we get into the episode, we've already recorded it. This is after the fact. Little disclaimer. The audio on my end is a little messed up, so it sounded like it did not pick up my actual microphone that we used to record, and instead used the laptop microphone. So that's an error on our part. It sounds a little lower quality. It's usable. We didn't want to completely scrap the episode because of that, because we thought we had a good little discussion. So didn't want to get rid of it. But if you hear a little bit of an echo and the quality of sound is not as great on my end, Mike sounds perfectly fine as usual. But on my end, it's a little lower quality. So if you hear that, don't be alarmed. We'll get it fixed for next week. But we thought we should probably make a note of it. So enjoy the episode. Thank you. And like I said, enjoy. Hello. Welcome back to the official GameZone podcast. This is episode 9. Today, as of the recording, it is July 18th. And nothing's really happening. Nothing too crazy. But we figured we have some things we can talk about, considering we're about halfway through the year. There's a lot of games coming. So there's still some stuff we can talk about. I am joined by Mike Splechta.
Hello.
I should also mention who I am. I am editor-in-chief of GameZone, Cade and Mike. So, like I said, it's a slow time of the year, but given we're at the halfway point of the year, we thought we would look forward at what is coming. You know, the big games, Call of Duty, Ghost Recon, Star Wars, Death Stranding, all that, and we would predict the Metacritic scores, talk a little bit about them, maybe how they'll received, if we're looking forward to them, stuff like that. So it'll be fun.
It's a fun little game.
It's a fun little game. And
then we can look back at this and see how great or how wrong we were.
Yeah.
And laugh at ourselves.
Yeah. I was gonna say if Matt was here, we should make some sort of small wager out of it, but I feel it'd be too unfair if it's just you and me. I don't like those odds, 50-50. Not good odds. But yeah.
So we're gonna start this. We're basically gonna go in chronological order, right? From
order.
an order of release. Yeah.
So I had a Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 to start with, but the review embargo already lifted for that just before we started recording, and we haven't played it yet. But it's at a 74, which is about what I expected. It's not like a huge AAA game. I feel like it still feels a little budgety, but like it's gonna maybe satisfy those people who have been wanting another game in that series for a while.
Well, also what's weird is that I feel like Nintendo barely advertised this game, and this is their game. Like it's published straight by them, so like it's a little strange that it didn't get more marketing on their part.
I agree. It was like they announced it in December, I think, at the Game Awards. And then a little quiet for a few months, and maybe there was another trailer or two. And Game Informer had a cover story on it. And over the last month, I feel like they've been kind of pushing it more, but the hype just wasn't there anyways. It's been very weird. It just feels like it was a game that we knew was coming, but there wasn't a lot of anticipation for it. Part of me, I love the first two Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. Those are one of my favorite games on the PSP was playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1.
That's right. I forgot it came out for the PSP.
It was like the same version. It wasn't like one of those download ports. I remember playing that game. I was very young, and I got stuck on this fight with Dr. Doom, and I threw my PSP on the ground and broke it.
Oh my god, come on.
Like a fool. And I never told my mom about it. I just kind of was like, I just don't have a PSP anymore. Never mind.
Aww.
Don't talk to her about it. She'll be so mad and maybe sad. I don't know. But I love those games. I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 on the 360, and I know that game was lesser received by fans, but it was still pretty fun.
Yeah.
I guess just there's been so much of an upgrade in games since that series started that like the fact that it doesn't feel like it's changed a whole lot makes me like not as interested in it.
I do like the art style though.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
at least compared to the older ones, which were more like realistic-ish
Yeah.
graphics.
They,
Like I like the cartoony nature of this one.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like one of the the Marvel animated shows, um, and it looks visually appealing. And there's a lot of characters, a lot of good characters. I'm pretty sure Yuri Lowenthal is playing Spider-Man again. So good.
Oh,
for
really?
him. Yeah, I heard him in the trailer, so that was cool. Um, so I mean, like, there's definitely interesting aspects of it, but I just don't know if I'm chomping at the bit for it, which is surprising because I've been wanting a Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for a long time, but I just don't know if this.
You're a Marvel guy.
I'm a Marvel guy, so yeah. I guess I just don't know if this is what I was looking for, but I haven't played it, so I'll get around.
Yeah,
to
it
it
might
at some
surprise
point.
you.
Yeah, maybe I'll be surprised.
I'm
Yeah.
also wondering like had this embargo not lifted, I'm trying to think like what would I have predicted this game to be? Because I think part of me was wishing that it was gonna be like in the 80s, like
Yeah.
the mid 80s. Because if that was the case, I think I would have been a little more comfortable with like an immediate day one purchase. I mean, 74 is not bad by any means, but like the mid 80s is like that's solid territory. Yeah, so.
That's really good.
So I'm wondering what my prediction would have been, if it would have been based on what I wanted it to be, or if I would have been more realistic and guessed a little lower. So,
For sure.
but yeah, let's move on to the next one.
So on July 26th, that's next Friday, Wolfenstein Youngblood comes out. This is it's very weird how they've been marketing this game. It's not Wolfenstein 3, and it may actually chronologically be set after Wolfenstein 3 is like maybe what I think I heard when they were first talking about it. I don't
Well, hang
know.
on. What is Wolfenstein? What's the one that was playable at E3?
That's Youngblood.
No, but wasn't there another one? Oh my god! I'm an idiot. I confuse it with Doom Eternal. That's right.
I played that too, but yeah, I played Wolfenstein Youngblood. It's definitely like the expansion that they had for the first game with the zombies.
Yeah.
Not as outlandish, but
And it's co-op, right?
yeah, it's co-op.
focused.
I'm pretty sure you can play it solo, but co-op is like the driving force behind it. I played it at E3, probably played about 20-ish minutes of it, and played through an entire level, kill a boss, very fun. It's definitely a game you could play independently, I feel like, and you wouldn't really be none the wiser.
Mhm.
It's added help with just killing a boss or clearing out rooms of enemies and stuff, but um, it's something that you could probably do by yourself. So I don't know how that co-op aspect will play in terms of a significant role.
Mhm.
Like, do you need to play this with a friend or something?
Right.
There's there's the typical co-op stuff like you get on like a lever and the other person gets on a lever and you pull at the same time.
Right.
But like you can still do it with an AI, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So I'm
Well,
not sure.
I don't want to cheat, so I'm not going to look at any of the past Metacritic stuff to kind of give me an idea.
Oh, for Wolfenstein.
Yeah, but I do know that Wolfenstein 1 and 2 were pretty well received in
Yeah.
general.
I gave Wolfenstein 2 a 9.5.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So I would ballpark this given that it's a spin-off and not the third real game in the franchise.
Mhm.
I think I would predict mid 80s.
I would say something like that as well.
Lower to mid 80s, like 80 to 85.
Yeah, I think the lowest I would put it at is like 79, and then the highest I'd go is probably 84.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think it'll be enough to be fun enough to get people excited for more Wolfenstein, and it'll be a good enough experience. Hopefully, it's long enough to keep people engaged because
Is it a $60 game?
I don't think so, but I think it's like 40
Okay.
or something like that. So it's they're not going out of their way to make it a $60 game. It might be on Switch, but that's like
The Switch tax.
Yeah. So I think it'll hit the marks it needs to, but not do anything particularly new or stellar.
Yeah.
To push the series forward. But,
right.
Hopefully, Wolfenstein 3 will do something like that.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen with that series. I love these new Wolfenstein games a lot.
Yeah, they're fun.
My favorite FPSs. So I'm very curious as where they're going with the series. Like each time, from the first one, I'm like, I don't know where they're going to go with the second one, and after the second one, I'm like, I don't know where they're going to go with the third one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if Youngblood will leave me feeling similar, or it'll just be like, oh, all right,
right.
The weight,
Yeah.
with just having a new thing to play.
Right.
So we'll see about that. Comes out next week, like I said. Hopefully we'll have a review. We don't have copies yet, but hopefully we'll get some around time release, so we can talk about it. Now this next one is more in your wheelhouse. I feel like I know nothing about.
That's Fire Emblem, right?
Fire Emblem Three Houses.
The same day as
Wolfenstein 26.
Yeah. I mean, it's only in my wheelhouse because I'm very interested in it, and I have played a few of the older Fire Emblem games as well, but I would definitely not call myself like a hardcore Fire Emblem fan by any means. But given that it's a first-party Nintendo game, and first-party Nintendo games generally do very, very well, especially like their main core IPs, the Marios, the Zeldas, and I would consider Fire Emblem to be in that upper echelon now. So if I was to make just a shot at the dark prediction, I would say like definitely in the 90s area, especially given like the previews just came out last week, and they were like overwhelmingly positive. So only going by that, I would say at the least mid 80s, but I would predict that it would be like in the 90s area. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Big bold prediction there.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we've got. I don't have any prediction for Fire Emblem. I don't know anything about it, so I'll just trust Mike and hope that he's not way off base.
I mean, I hope I'm not way off base because I'm super excited about that game too.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
For my sake, I hope that it's.
We're excited for the vast majority of these games, I imagine.
That's
we
true.
Don't want anything to be
exactly.
If we do predict it to be like a negative score, we don't want it to get a negative score.
Yeah.
We want everything to be good. We like good video games.
Exactly.
About a month later, August 27th. Should also be noted, these aren't every game coming out this year, but a lot of the big ones. So a month later, August 27th, is Control, Remedy's new third-person shooter, sort of psychological action-adventure. First game since Quantum Break in 2016. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Well, not that I'm like not curious about it. I personally don't know if that's gonna score very well because generally their games don't. Even though they're kind of like cult hits. Like I know people really liked Alan Wake.
Yeah.
But I don't even think Alan Wake scored really all that well.
I will look.
And what's it called? Quantum Break. You said. I don't know how that did.
That did like 70s.
70s. Okay. Yeah, well, okay. So I think. Knowing nothing about Control aside from that it has a female protagonist with a shape-shifting gun, I think, right? And she has some sort of telekinetic abilities.
Yeah, telekinetic power.
Yeah, that's literally all I know about it. So just
Alan Wake got an 83.
Oh wow, okay,
Pretty good.
That is pretty good. I would say I would give this maybe lower 70s, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
not in the mid 60s.
Wow, you're really not.
Yeah, I don't really like settling on a number because I feel like guessing the exact
Yeah,
number
for
is
sure.
is gonna be super hard. Although
No,
that
yeah,
that would
I get
make
that.
that would make fun like in terms of betting and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think in the range I could probably see it like in the in like the upper 60s, lower 70s.
Quantum Break got a 77, so
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
lower end there. Still good. I mean, like people. I don't think anyone outright hated Quantum Break. Did you play Quantum Break?
I only played a very little bit of it, and I honestly only picked it up because me and my wife are very big like show bingers,
Uh huh.
and the whole prospect of that game was cool to us because it's like part game, part
Yeah.
TV show, and the stuff that you do sort of affects really small things in each episode that
Yeah.
you do. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that kind of felt cool, but then we kind of like never followed through with it and never actually beat it. But it was like it was okay.
Yeah. I thought it. Remedy's gunplay. Just going from the Max Payne series primarily. Alan Wake was like not like a shooter per se. I mean, it had guns, but like it wasn't dead set on action in that sense.
Right.
But when you look at Quantum Break and Max Payne, mechanically, gunplay wise, they should be similar. Um, but while Max Payne feels very free and flowing and swift,
Even for its time, yeah.
yeah, the Quantum Break doesn't really feel that. It felt a little stiffer. I mean, it still felt like there was some freedom to it, but like uh, it's been a while since I played it. But I'm pretty sure like there was no like hip fire kind of stuff. So like uh, I was. I know Rockstar did Max Payne 3 and Remedy was like largely completely uninvolved with that game, but I was like, maybe they'll take some inspiration from Max Payne 3's gunplay because it's one of my favorite third-person shooters ever, and be like, let's carry that over and
Ah, okay.
do some of
Yeah.
that like incredible gunplay there. And they're like, no, we're just gonna take some steps back. I was like, this is not incredible. It was very average, and the story was okay. I like the story. Did not like the TV show stuff. It was very boring.
Okay, yeah.
Um, and I feel like you could completely remove the TV show stuff and the game's like the same.
Well, it's
So
kind of interesting, right? Because the original premise was that was going to be a TV show on TV
yeah,
that would somehow play in
yeah,
with the game, but I think that was just way too ambitious for them, and they scaled it back.
Microsoft,
Yeah.
fucking weirdos. So Control specifically, I would say that they've been kind of amping this one up for a while. It's been cooking for a couple minutes there. So I think Quantum Break came out March 2000 or April 2016, and we're in 2019, so
Oh
about
wow.
3 years. I think it's gonna do good numbers, at least critically.
Really?
I think it's gonna go low 80s.
Low
Um,
80s. Okay. Wow. Okay.
uh, I think I've heard a lot of interesting things from it. I'm really pissed off I didn't go see it at E3 because I heard that it was really fun. I've heard good things. Like Hideo Kojima came and saw the game.
Oh wow.
He was like kind of impressed by it. Um, and press are really digging it, and there's some cool story, narrative, and gameplay mechanics that I can't wait to see. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I like I said, I didn't really care for Quantum Break. I like Alan Wake a lot. Speaking of which, did you hear recently that they reacquired the Alan Wake IP?
IP. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that hopefully means after this we might get Alan Wake 2.
Yeah. Definitely.
Hopefully. So I hope this does well because it looks good. Remedy is an awesome studio. I just think sometimes they don't always hit the mark exactly.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, they're definitely ambitious, if anything.
yeah, they're doing weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who else is making games in the style of like Twin Peaks?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're a writer who kills monsters with a flashlight
Yep.
and has to collect pages of his manuscript. Like no one's doing that. So they're a great studio, and I really hope this succeeds and works out for them because I think it's a really cool idea for a game. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to play that. All right, what's next here? What's next? The Dark Pictures, Man of I don't know the full name, but this is the
Yeah,
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Yes. I have not watched a single trailer on this, so I'm kind of in the dark about it.
The marketing has been like kind of.
Not great.
Yeah, I just like I have heard like nothing about it. Like, I mean, I've heard stuff about it. I went and saw it at E3 and stuff, but like, um,
Well, based off what you saw,
yeah,
what do you think this is gonna score?
not well.
No.
This is probably gonna get 60s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like mid 60s, not even high 60. I feel like it's it's a taking a lot of steps back from Until Dawn. I didn't.
But it's
play,
co-op though, right?
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I haven't looked into that myself.
Oh, they didn't do that at E3.
No, I don't even think they were talking like that. I didn't. I think that was a new thing that they just talked about like last week or something.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what that's about.
Gotcha.
Should be interesting. Maybe I don't know how it works. But maybe you like play as one character and then your friend will play as another, and like your choices. You're not in control of all the choices of the game. I think that's how it works. So that sounds like an interesting concept. But yeah, the game, just from what I saw at E3, was just very strangely presented. They were on this very small like boat out at sea, and then these guys hijack it. Yeah, I think they didn't really go into it, but you've had an interaction with them earlier. And now they're here to like kill you, and so it was like probably 15 minutes, and the whole demo was spent tied up in a room basically, and then you're talking to each other, and no one seems particularly interesting enough as characters. There's like I think I said it last episode when we kind of briefly talked about it. There was this weird thing where when the characters were talking to each other, it cut back to your character, and you had the like chance to shush them or say something. And usually, in like Until Dawn, the characters will keep talking while you're deciding what you do next.
Oh, but there's an awkward pause here.
It's an awkward pause, and
Oh.
so it's like awkward, and then it's just they're all talking, and then it stops, and then it's dead silent, and then your character goes, "Shh." It's really bizarre. It was like. What?
Weird.
It's like super delayed and out of place. And, maybe they'll fix it at launch, but I mean the game's almost out. So
Yeah.
But yeah, the story isn't particularly compelling either.
Is any of it paranormal? Is it all just against other humans?
The stuff we saw was just against humans, but from what I understand, their supernatural stuff comes into play later.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how involved it is, but I thought Until Dawn's story was rad.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if they have new writers or what's up, but I'm not particularly looking hot for this one. So
Well,
hopefully,
I'm gonna trust your judgment on this one.
yeah, hopefully it comes together, but I don't know if it will. And
Yeah.
that's disappointing because they're a good studio, and I also felt like the choices that I made during the demo had no impact on like what was actually.
Oh, really?
There was that butterfly effect and stuff, just like completely not there.
Oh,
It
okay.
just felt very bizarre what they chose to show us. I don't know if that was just a bad portion of the game that they were showing off, but it didn't really give me a good impression.
Got it.
September 10th, Gears 5, not Gears of War 5. They dropped the of War.
Now, did they do that because they didn't want to be GOW like the Gotti of last year?
That's a good question. I don't know. they apparently Rod Ferguson. That's his name, right?
I think so.
I was gonna say Rod Sterling, but that's the guy from Twilight Zone, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
He's been trying to get the of War dropped since 4.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so they finally let him do it on this one. So Gears 5, very interesting. We don't know much about it. It feels like, at least narratively.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a lot of the other stuff. I think there's a technical test coming up this weekend.
Yes. Actually, starting tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I might get in on that. Because I think you can still do that if you're a Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass and pre-orders get to
That's
do it.
cool. That's cool. So
I mean, it's their flagship franchise.
yeah,
I would imagine this is probably gonna do really well for them.
yeah.
I don't know how Gears 4 did. The only one I know that kind of was underwhelming was Gears of War Judgment.
Yeah.
Everything else I think got pretty amazing reviews as far as I remember.
Yeah, people were big on Gears of War 4. I was not.
Oh, really?
I really
Okay.
didn't care for it at all. I like Gears of War 3 a lot. But based on the few things we've been shown for Gears of War 5, it looks cool. There's going in like kind of a horror direction. I mean, Gears of War has always had like a little bit of horror.
Yeah.
It feels a lot more horror based, and there's new setting and all these weird ideas with the girl.
Yeah, was she
Cade.
the main character in the last one too, or no?
No, that
Oh,
was
wow.
Marcus's son, who's still.
Oh,
in this
okay.
game, but
Okay.
I believe they changed the protagonist.
Got it.
So,
I mean, she seems cool. I only really watched the whatever story trailer they released. I don't know if it was during E3 or whatever, or maybe earlier, but it looked pretty cool.
yeah, I'm interested, and I saw some gameplay of or someone was throwing a GIF around this like past week of someone running around with some big melee weapon, just slicing things up, and I was like, this looks awesome.
Nice.
And they've got a bunch of content. Like they have story, obviously. They have PvP. They have Horde. Then they have that escape mode or whatever it is, which is like kind of like a different version of Horde. But
Right, that's the one that they teased at E3, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're doing all these big moves with no season pass, free DLC, no loot boxes and stuff like that. So I think people are gonna like this one. And I think Microsoft needs like a big hit because when's the last time they even released a new first party like exclusive that wasn't Forza?
Sea of Thieves.
You might be right.
I mean, that was last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
there might have been some other ones, but they are very few and very far
Yeah.
between.
yeah, exactly.
And Sea of Thieves didn't. I don't think that was very well critically received
Oh
at
my
all.
god! I just remember Crackdown 3.
Oh yeah.
Well, that really speaks to.
Oh, it really does.
So yeah, they really need something, don't they?
Yeah.
But I would go high 80s.
Heidi's. Yeah, I was thinking high 80s, like borderline low 90s.
Yeah, I would. I don't think Microsoft has gotten a 90 Metacritic score on anything that's not Forza.
Oh, is that true? Okay, then then I might be speaking out of my ass on that one.
But I mean, like, if this game is like really good, this could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like this is the one that could push that line.
Mhm,
So, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play it. Lots of interesting things being done with that franchise. It's very interesting because Gears of War 3 was like the end, right? And then they're like, you know what? Let's keep doing stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys really want to keep pushing Gears of War? I mean, like, I like Gears of War, but like, you don't have to do this. And people like Gears of War 4. I thought there were parts of it that I liked, but a lot of it I just didn't like hit the spot for me in the same way it did for others. But Gears of War 5 looks to be very, very good, so I'm excited.
Nice.
Gears of War 5. Again, that comes out September 10th. 3 days later, September 13th, Borderlands 3.
Yeah, buddy.
You're excited for this one?
I'm excited for that one, and that's coming from someone who like played the first game to death, and then sort of liked the second one.
Oh, really? I thought people liked the second one more than the
So
first one.
here's this is a very very me problem. It's not I don't think it's the game's fault, but like it was around that time when I went to E3 when the second one was being shown off, and I think I just was so hyped on it that when I actually got to play it, it maybe didn't hit as strongly as I was hoping, and that sort of like slightly deflated my hype for it. I mean, I still very much enjoyed it because I mean, I love co-op FPSs, like those are my jam, like PvE focused co-op games. But so that was fun. That aspect is fun, and I do like the gunplay as well, and the bazillion guns that they have.
Yes.
But something about it, I don't know what it was. Is that it did not have like the same magical effect on me like the first game did, because that one I replayed so many times, and the second one I think I've only replayed it like not even a handful of times. So yeah, I don't know, but 3 looks good. 3 looks really good.
And I loved what I played at E3. Like I said, it wasn't anything like crazy that they showed us. It's just like going to this outpost and fight a boss. But and it wasn't even like co-op or anything. It was just solo. And,
Okay.
But the gunplay was like really fun and like really
Nice.
good, tight, and it felt really good to play. And I didn't really care much for Borderlands 1. I played a little bit of Borderlands 2, liked it more, but still like it didn't like sink its hooks in me exactly. But Borderlands 3 feels very good to play. And
Very
so
nice.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and it looks huge, like with multiple planets that you can visit, and the gun variety seems even more crazier this time.
It's got crossplay.
And well, not at launch, but
right,
yeah, but they want to do it, so that's another step in the right direction for video games as a whole. But yeah, like and the characters all seem like the characters like when I looked at all their skills, I have a very hard time deciding who I want to play. That's how good I think all 4 of the characters are. Like before, I was able to pretty much just always pick no problem, but like for some reason, I think all of these 4 are really well designed and all seem very fun. So I'm gonna have a tough time picking.
Yeah, they have a bunch of cool abilities and stuff, so it'll be fun to experiment, move around with those characters, and cause all sorts of chaos on various planets. I would say I might go as far to say I think this game's gonna get in the 90s. Like
Really? Wow.
Yeah, if it holds up well narratively.
I mean, I'm hoping, but I was gonna say like low to mid 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say even on the lowest spectrum, I'd probably put it at high 80s.
High 80s, okay.
Let's see what Borderlands 2 got. Borderlands 2 does not have a Metacritic score.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
Are you looking at the VR version?
I'm looking at the Xbox One version. That's probably why. That doesn't make any sense because it came out on 360. 89.
Wow. Okay. I think I'll stick with mine.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes the threequels they tend to dip.
Yeah.
And again, this is like technically the 4th game, right? Because it's
right, the pre-sequel, yes.
But we don't want to talk about that.
No.
All right. Next up is Link's Awakening, Nintendo Switch, the remake.
Well, this one's easy. This one is easy, and I'm willing to bet this is gonna get a lot of 10s.
Yeah, I mean it's Zelda. So
yeah, this is gonna be 95 and up, 100%.
And the first game, the original release was like, what that was like a really well received game, right?
I mean, yeah, it was in the Game Boy. That was in the Game Boy era, so I don't even think I read reviews at that point. But I think, but yes, people did really like Link's Awakening, and it was very different because I think it was not the standard Zelda team that did this, which is why this game also has like stuff like chain chomps and stuff like that you'd find in Mario, because I think there was some overlap between the people who worked on Mario and people who worked on Zelda and did this game. But yeah, just the art style looks gorgeous. The little almost toy-like quality to this game.
Yeah.
Looks great. I mean, I don't know about performance, but I would imagine Nintendo's got that shit on lock. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I cannot imagine this would get anything lower than like I can't possibly see an 80 or an 89. Like this has to be 90, 95 or 100.
I would imagine so. It's one of those games that just like you already know what to expect. It's just as long as it isn't a buggy mess and it
Exactly.
then it's probably gonna hit all of its marks.
And they're updating it too. Like they added this whole new like dungeon building mechanic, which is kind of part puzzle game, part dungeon builder. Yeah, you have like these tiles, and you have to fill those tiles with dungeon tile sets, but they have to like connect to each other, so you can't just put stuff randomly, and you need to have certain amount of doors, certain amount of key. Like so actually building the dungeon itself is like a puzzle game, but then once you build it, you can actually run them and like get items and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely cool, and it just shows that they've put some thought into it, and it's not just like a graphical like re-release of Link's Awakening. But yeah, looks friggin' fantastic.
Yeah, I'd probably say this is gonna be guaranteed in the 90s. I'd be shocked if it's anything less than that.
Agreed.
October 4th, Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah, buddy.
Sequel to Wildlands.
I was a very, very big fan of Wildlands.
Really?
I loved Wildlands, and I think a lot of people did too, because I think it was one of you. I mean, I don't know about critically, but I know it was like one of Ubisoft's like best-selling games of last year.
Were updating it for quite some time.
They just updated it again.
What?
Just now they added a 8-player battle royale mode.
What? Oh, okay. Well, that's whatever. That's
so I know, little scaled down, but it's got its own twist on it a little bit. I mean, not that I've played it, but I've just read about it, and still, it sounds intriguing enough. But yeah, that game was just absolutely fantastic. Like big open world, lots of stuff to do, fully co-op, which that's my jam.
Yeah.
So I was all about it, and the clip that they showed from Breakdown, the gameplay reveal, looked really, really good.
Yeah, I didn't like Wildlands as much. I felt something about it felt off to me, but Breakpoint.
But did you play solo?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that the crux of it, you think?
I think it might be. That's definitely a portion of it, but also just gameplay wise, there were just things that like I wanted to do that I felt like should have been in a game like this. Like there was a mission where there was like an outpost or something, and there was a crane or something nearby, and I was like, I'm gonna go on top of that crane, crouch down on it, and I'm gonna snipe people from up there. You couldn't climb the ladder on the crane.
Oh, okay. I got you.
It was just shit like that just kept happening, where I was just like
immersion breaking stuff.
Yeah,
got it.
Like, it's just like you want this very tactical Tom Clancy experience with all this freedom and stuff, and then when you go to do something and it just doesn't, it's just not there. It's just really frustrating.
I will say that the sync headshots were badass though. Those are fun to pull off.
Yes, I agree. And there are a couple other things that I wasn't huge on, but like I said, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Just from what I've seen, I didn't get to play it, but what I've seen looks rad. Like the covering yourself in the dirt.
Yeah.
Fences, and the more of a hardcore survivalist element of it, with getting water and being wounded, and you're kind of being hunted, and there's the drones, and it looks badass.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm rooting for this one.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking like 84, 85.
I was actually going to be exactly. I was going to say mid 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree on that one.
I think it's going to do pretty well, so long as the content is there and it's not too repetitive. I mean, Ubisoft games always tend to score well, even though
they really do. Yeah.
Even though that they do a lot of good stuff, but a lot of that also comes over time rather than immediately at launch. Sometimes. Some of their issues are always present from game to game, but people still like them, so never really affects the score too much. So I would imagine this will do pretty well, but I think that would be better than Wildlands. I think Ghost Recon Wildlands got like high 70s.
Oh, did it really? Interesting. Okay.
I gotta look here. But regardless, it looks like a huge step up from PC 69, but consoles is 76.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
probably a little bit of a buggy mess on PC, maybe bad port.
maybe, yeah. So yeah, 76 on consoles, which I imagine is where most people played it.
Yeah.
So this would be a big step up if it got what we're predicting. But
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
imagine, from what they've shown off, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, for sure.
On October 25th, Call of Duty Modern Warfare makes its return with its semi reboot.
Do these ever score bad? They don't, right? Like
No, I would have
these
to
are like
check
universally
the rules.
always 9s and 10s, right? Or actually, I don't. Are they 10s?
Sometimes,
Usually?
nah, I don't think there hasn't been a 10 Call of
No.
Duty.
Okay.
Usually 8s and 9s.
Okay. Okay.
With some 7s mixed in. I think I gave Black Ops 4 an 8.5, and I gave Infinite Warfare a 7.5, and I feel like something came out in between then. Oh, World War II. I think I gave that an 8.
But you've seen this one.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
You haven't played it though, right?
No.
Okay. So based on what you've seen, which we've discussed last episode, because you saw it at E3.
Yeah. And they just showed off multiplayer last week.
Oh yeah. So based on that, you're thinking this one's going to do good?
Yeah, I'd say so. Right now, I'm going to sit at the low 80s.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Just because, like I said last week, I liked what I saw of the single player, but it's trying to be bold, but also not committing to its boldness in a way that feels weird. Like they're not doubling down on what they want to do. You can go back and listen to last week's episode for really in-depth thoughts on this, but like there's just the morality of it all, of just being able to press pause and reload checkpoint if you do something wrong, while they're trying to make you feel like you have consequences for your actions, and doing wrong things, messing up. It undermines the whole situation. So there's stuff that I feel can really hurt the game significantly, both in how it's presenting itself. It just like, if they don't execute it right, it's just going to destroy that presentation. People are going to like mercilessly just be like, you wanted to do one thing and you completely failed, and it was like spectacularly like failed, because like they're trying to do something super, like, I keep saying the word bold, and that's exactly what it is, because it's also like, if they don't do it right, it's going to be
well.
really
I think they're trying to be a little bit more political with this one, right?
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So like you risk it even more. Cause that's hot water.
Mm-hmm.
So if you fuck it up, you're gonna fuck up bad.
Yeah.
So they're totally aware of that. I talked to them about it, and like they are very confident in the game they're making. They did not show any signs of weakness or hesitance when I saw them, but maybe you get blinded by your own game.
It's possible. It's possible.
But again, I only saw like 2 missions from the game.
Got it. Yeah, I'm leaning probably the 85 to 90 range, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
The multiplayer looks good. They only showed off with the 2v2 mode, so it's hard to judge the entire
2v2.
Yeah, it's just one mode.
Okay.
Outside of the multiplayer. Rest of the multiplayer will be shown on August 1st. But yeah, it's a 2v2 small maps where everyone only has 1 life per round. It looked fun. The gunplay looks great. And,
well, I think their bread and butter. I think they know it.
Yeah, so I mean, like, nothing really needs to be said about that, because it's obviously feel and look good
for sure.
And they're adding some other changes, like very small stuff. They didn't show everything, I feel like, but there's like executions now. So like in Halo, you remember the assassinations?
Oh yes.
Do a brutal kill. You can do that now.
Yeah. Titanfall 2 had that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've got new animations and stuff just to keep things feeling fresh. So like you can you'll have different run cycle animations, and it doesn't feel very static and stale. So it's a little more dynamic this time around. So
Okay.
they're doing a good job from the looks of it. Just on the multiplayer side, I mean. But that single player could be
Make or break.
make or break.
Yeah.
Whether people really
Interesting.
really think it's like.
And that's
one of the
that's
generation.
really funny considering people were like, "Oh, I can't believe that you didn't put a single player story in our game last year."
Yeah.
And now people are gonna want it, and
It
it might bite them in the ass.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to be like, all right, no more single player because you fucked it up. So,
Yeah.
I hope. I love Modern Warfare. Like I want nothing more for this single player to be good because I love Modern Warfare. I love Call of Duty, and I love these stories. And I think if they execute this kind of premise really well, it's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
If they don't, it could be disastrous.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
we'll find out in October. But they have some competition.
Same day.
Yeah, the Outer Worlds is coming out that same day.
Yeah. What's the studio? Obsidian.
Obsidian. Yeah.
Yes. So the hopeful in me wants this to score very, very high because, as I've told you in our very first podcast when we were discussing the Game Awards, that was my trailer of show. Like I loved what I saw there, and so I'm really hoping that this game is good. But I know that these Fallout-like games tend to be polarizing in more ways than one. Bugginess, narrative, jankiness in controls and stuff like that. So I want it to be a 9, but I'm guessing for this, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'm guessing like 7 in the 70 range.
I would say so too because it's.
And I know we're making it sound like 70 is a horrible score because 7 out of 10 is only three points away from a 10. But like, you have to admit, in the video game review score world,
Yeah.
anything usually lower than a 7 is considered to be like, oh my god, this game is the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were to be on the fair average scale, a 5 would be that. But
Yeah.
we're going by
video
the
game review scores, man. In fact, I say that, but we're made a whole fucking episode surrounding them. I'm a hypocrite, but they're fucking frustrating because if you go all games like unless they are terribly broken, they score like a 5.5 or higher, and even that might be generous.
Yeah.
So like, it's just and that's just how I review games. I don't want it feels because I'm like stumbling over my words right now. It's just hard because 7 is like the average, quote unquote. And numbers don't make any fucking sense. Everything you learned in math and school thrown out the window when you try to review a game because people are stupid.
Well, I really hope I'm wrong, and I don't want to see mid 60s. But if that happens, it would not surprise me given just. Obsidian's history in past games as well, like Fallout New Vegas, like people love that game to death. It is probably everyone's favorite new Fallout game. But again, when that released, buggy mess, and a lot of that showed in a lot of the reviews. So that's why I really would like this to be high, but I'm just keeping my expectations in check and thinking it's going to be around the 7 area.
And again, this is a budget title.
It is, yes.
It's not even probably of the scale of Fallout New Vegas, at least during its time.
But also, so does that mean this is not a $60 game?
It is.
It is. See, so that's where this whole budget thing is kind of a weird statement, right? Because you're paying a AAA price.
Yeah.
But the devs specifically said don't expect a Fallout-sized experience. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's.
And don't get me wrong, I'm okay with it being short, or
Yeah,
shorter. I don't need it to be 100 hours for me to get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But that might be that's something that certain reviewers will maybe take more into account than anything else. So that might affect it that way. And then again, I think the bugs could really be the thing that will bring this game down, if there are any. But again, given their history. But again, I think for Fallout New Vegas, they were probably using Bethesda's proprietary engine, and this time they are not. So fingers crossed that also means less bugginess.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a game that, even if it does score a 7 or something like that, it'll be remembered fondly.
Mm-hmm. Did you play this at E3 or no?
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it, okay.
They didn't let us play it.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, it looked interesting. It looked fun. And I do want to play it. And I hope the replay value is there, so I can get some more out of it than just a weekend's worth of time or something like that.
Yeah.
So I hope the content is there, and hopefully it does well. So Microsoft will greenlight a sequel for them and give them all their money that they need.
Oh yeah,
maybe
true.
Make something bigger in that universe. But yeah, I imagine this is gonna hit the low 70s, mid 70s.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's just what happens when you make a game of that scale and scope at that time, especially.
Oh yeah.
The final wave of huge games. I mean, Call of Duty, same day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then Borderlands 3 a month before, and Death Stranding. It's just people expect a little more at that time of year. But it's also nice to have games, small comfort food kind of games like that. So I'm hopeful for it. Hope people give it a shot and are open-minded about it.
Yep.
All right. Halloween, October 31st. Nintendo will release Luigi's Mansion 3 for Nintendo Switch.
Are these games fondly looked upon?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I've only really played a little bit of the GameCube game. I've never played the sequel on the 3DS. So I can't speak on that one.
I know people have been wanting this for a while. So
that is true.
Imagine there's some love for this series, yeah.
And again, first party Nintendo title, so I'm gonna guess high.
I don't think it's gonna be 90s.
No, you don't think it's gonna be 90s? Okay.
No. There are Nintendo games that are first party that still don't do big numbers. I mean, they released a Kirby game or something this year.
That is true. You are right.
And there's been that Yoshi game and other stuff like that. They have their misses, but I don't think they have bombs.
Okay, but that Yoshi game, it was like a spin-off-ish platformer, not like a core title. You know what I mean? This is their
big time.
Yeah.
This is their holiday game.
Yeah, so that's
Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon. So with that in mind, I would say maybe mid 80s to possible 90s.
Okay.
But probably more in the 80s range.
Okay. I was thinking high 70s, low 80s.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't know anything about this game. I'm not a big Nintendo person.
Well, Cade, I don't know if you're looking at the list, but I don't think anyone knows anything about the next game.
What is it? Here, look. Oh.
This is literally the biggest wild card, I think, in our entire list.
Yeah.
And it is Death Stranding.
Yeah. November 8th. Death Stranding.
Oh my god. What even is this?
So, I've been looking at Hideo Kojima. I follow him on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
He posts, off-screen pictures of him playtesting the game all the time. He's in the exact same location every time he plays the fucking game. And he's been playing it for months. He's just in a field, and there's a mountain in the distance, and he's just sitting on the ground. I'm like, is this all the fucking game is?
So here's the thing. I respect the fuck out of the guy.
He's a genius.
I love almost everything that guy releases. I even really, really, really like Metal Gear Solid 5, even though it is sadly unfinished because of that whole Konami thing.
That's a whole other thing.
But even so, like the guy, I think is a visionary when it comes to directing games because man, I mean he loves putting movies inside of his games. That's undeniable. But just the audacity of like the ideas that he has and puts them in a game, like it's crazy. So with that in mind, I want to say this is gonna be an amazing game.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. I don't know what the game is.
It's so hard to tell, and we just got our first look of actual like
gameplay. Yeah.
Last month, I think.
But even that doesn't like tell you anything.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like super like out there. Like we see a ladder. We found the ladder.
He did. That he materialized out of nothing, right?
Yeah.
So it's Minecraft?
Yeah, I guess. He was like walking somewhere, and then like some guys like ambush him or something at one point in the trailer, and the gameplay, to its credit, looked authentic, but like it also looked like not super duper smooth or anything.
Yeah.
Like
Slightly janky, yes.
Slightly janky, which like, I mean, I guess I appreciate that they're showing it off that way, but it also was like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sort of just ready for like him to release like a 10, even 20-minute video just breaking down, here's the 101 on what this game is.
You gotta imagine, I think either Gamescom or I think the Tokyo Game Show's in like September or something. And he likes to go there and stuff sometimes.
Or on the flip side, maybe he won't do any of that, and that's the last we've seen of the game, and then he's just gonna release it and be like, "Well, here it is. I hope you like it."
We'd get like another story trailer or something, but I can totally see him not showing up.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah.
So with that in mind, I have no idea what to predict with the scoring because it's just I don't even know what the game is.
Yeah.
I want to say based on his name alone and his crazy ideas, I want to say it's going to score high in like the mid 80s to 90s.
I could see it going 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5 was like very hollow in what it was, right? Like we can all accept that now.
But still mechanically really good though.
But if you go back to when that game came out, it's getting tense.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's in the 90s on Metacritic.
Yeah.
That game did bangers.
Mm-hmm.
So like, even if maybe it's not great, I can see maybe some people being blinded by vision and stuff.
And then you also have to take into account. So he's using the engine from the Horizon Zero Dawn people for this game, and apparently they've seen it. And they had some crazy tweets about it. So maybe it just is something groundbreaking, and we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Just them like hyping it up for some reason, for whatever reason. I mean,
but there was someone else. There was someone else. Yeah, exactly. Remedy saw it. Yeah.
But they're his friends.
Yeah.
So I know they wouldn't. No one, no matter who they are, probably wouldn't go out.
Yeah, didn't even Jordan Vogt Roberts see it because
I'm sure
he's directing the Metal Gear movie. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like it's so hard to gauge his games ahead of release because like they could be some of the craziest things you've ever fucking seen in your entire life, or it could just be like a complete nonsensical disaster. To his credit, I mean, like he's never really made a bad video game. I mean,
he really hasn't. Yeah,
but usually they're playable.
No, yeah,
they're largely enjoyable, even if like there's some weird and confusing shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Even with Metal Gear Solid 5 being a hollow story, it's really fun to play, and like even with that story maybe not being the most satisfying thing ever, it was still engaging while I played it. I was just, that disappointment came at the end when you realized there was no more.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna say 90s.
Yeah, I can see it.
because I just think that's, regardless of if it is good or not, I feel like people will just say it's Kojima and we're gonna. I don't know.
Or maybe on that day, everyone will just every video game website's just going to post the same mind explosion GIF.
Yeah, the one from Scanner.
Yep.
November 15th, Pokemon Sword and Shield. I don't really know much about Pokemon. Do you?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
I do quite a lot actually. I mean, I play basically all of them. So, and I think these things review always really really well.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you ask me what this game is going to score, what was it, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, I would have said, oh, easy, 9, 10, maybe high 80s. Right, because it's like the first real 3D Pokemon game. So maybe there'll be some technical hitches or whatever.
Sure.
But now everyone's complaining about the whole National Dex issue. Which, do you know what's going on with that? Do you know what that is?
What that means? No.
Basically, in previous games, you could transfer Pokemon from a service called, I think it was Pokemon Bank. And it was just this cloud service where you would transfer your games from your Pokemon from older games and bring them into your newer games. So you always have that same Pokemon, or that same Pokemon team or whatever. And so that means that all those Pokemon were modeled in the game, because they had to be, because you would bring them in from the older games. Mm-hmm. In this game, it does not have the National Dex, which means, because right now they're probably at 1,000 plus Pokemon, right, from the very first one all the way to now. So they're saying, no, this game will only have the current region's Pokedex, which means, I don't know how many that could be, like probably 200, 300 plus or whatever, maybe, right? I'm just pulling that number out of my ass. But that it won't have every single one, and people are flipping out because, they want to bring their entire teams back from their older games, and there's just, It could be a vocal minority who's super upset about it. Who knows? But the internet is, of course, running with it, and there's headlines that
it sounds like there was a precedent for expecting something like that.
I guess there was, but historically the game has always been on handhelds, and I would assume that the development time for handhelds versus something that needs 3D models for every single thing is going to be different. And I don't want to say that the devs are lazy or anything like that, but there's obviously a whole lot of work to be done with animating over 1,000 different Pokemon and putting them in the game, and storage, and stuff like that. So I understand the fact that it does not have a National Dex, but plenty of people, seem to be upset about it. So maybe that could potentially lower that score a little bit. I hope that's not the case. I hope people can look past that and enjoy the game for what it is. But, it's the internet, so.
Definitely.
So with that in mind, the lowest I could predict would be like 80s, like mid 80s. But if they can look past that, I would predict like around the 90s range for sure.
All right. Is it the first mainline 3D Pokemon game?
Mainline, yes.
Okay.
There have been there was a GameCube game that was like a complete spin-off. Yeah, I mean, Sun and Moon had like 3D elements, but like you could not control the camera, like in free 3D. Like this is the first one, and technically the first like actual also home console mainline Pokemon game. So yeah.
Okay. All right, so if they execute that well, I'm sure that'll get them a lot of points. I'll just follow you on that.
All good.
I saw Detective Pikachu. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, you did.
My girlfriend left during the interrogation scene with the.
Oh, Mr. Mime! Oh, it was a great part.
It's the best part of the movie, and she left. And
they lit him on fire.
I know, that was like, holy shit! That was incredible.
Oh man!
I did play the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu last year, and it did not do much for me.
No? Okay. Well, if that didn't do much, then I don't know if this one.
Maybe it's just not a series for me. Same day.
Oh wow, yeah.
All in order. This could go many different ways.
It could. For me personally, not Metacritic aside, right? I've only watched that first demo. I know that they released a longer one. I've never watched the longer one, so I don't know. But it looked super generic to me, and I think that might translate into the reviews as well. Maybe.
Yeah. I know Game Informer spent a month over there, and they were very happy and ecstatic about what they saw.
Okay, but Cade. They gotta sell that Game Informer.
You're right.
You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but Game Informer, since they're in cahoots with GameStop, it is very hard to trust their judgment 100%. And I don't want to call them out like who are we? Like right? GameZone, Game Informer. Sure. But like you know, when you're in a partnership with a store who's primarily selling video games, it's tough to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I don't know if I go by
honest in their reviews, but those
true.
You never know what's
exactly the cover stories, right? So that's why I'm saying like maybe take it with a little bit of grain of salt, but
sure.
But yeah, it's a dude with a lightsaber in a game that looks a little bit like Uncharted. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember the initial story trailer they dropped earlier in the year. Star Wars Celebration looked really cool, and then I saw the gameplay. I described it as like the prequel era of lightsaber fighting, as opposed to the flashy, frenetic nature of. Or no, I'm sorry, not the prequels. It looked like the originals, as opposed to the prequels, which were fancy, flashy, frenetic, really but the originals were very slow,
methodical, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I personally like that more, actually.
Yeah, there's some interesting things you can do. I like the like fast-paced stuff too, but like when you're making a game, maybe faster flashiness is more fun, especially to watch. Maybe it's a game that plays better as opposed to watching it.
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
I don't know. It looks interesting because it's not like we're just making the Force Unleashed again or something, right? It's
right, yeah.
It's interesting.
Which I think is now officially decanonized, right? Like
correct.
Yeah. Shame. I actually like those games.
Yeah, same. I think there have been efforts to make Starkiller canon again, the main character.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've succeeded at that yet. But yeah, it's. I think the story is going to be a big part of what makes or breaks that thing, because everyone loves Star Wars stories, right? We haven't gotten a good.
Do they though?
Well, they like good Star Wars stories, right? You know,
like not even like The Last Jedi, man. That did not. That's a very polarizing movie.
It is a very polarizing movie. People like when Star Wars is good. Or good for them, whatever.
Yeah, I think, and I don't want this to come across as like being harsh on it, but I'm predicting 70s for this one. I
was thinking high 70s.
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I mean, it's entirely possible they could do it right, but I don't know. It's something in the air, right? Like there's nothing has been right with Star Wars.
Yeah, they've been struggling a little bit.
I don't even hate Disney or like Star Wars like in that way. Like
same.
Force Awakens, Last Jedi. I don't know where I'm at with the Last Jedi still. It is a constant struggle. Love Solo. I like that.
Well, it's just that I think Marvel has like surpassed everything in terms of like interconnectedness and epicness and overall storytelling, that like it's almost surprising how on kind of the opposite end of that spectrum Star Wars is. because man, like unlike you, I did not care for Solo at all. Like, man, if I could erase that from existence, I totally would, because I do not want to. I don't want to see the Kessel Run. I liked hearing about it. I don't want to see it. And I did not care about those dice at all.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But so maybe that's kind of part of it.
I had a dream yesterday that I woke, or when I was dreaming, that it was the day The Rise of Skywalker came out, the new movie, and no one cared.
Oh,
Like there was
see,
like,
see,
it was just
I
a
don't.
regular movie release.
All right, so I don't think it's gonna go that far. See, I think Rise of Skywalker is actually probably gonna be the turning point a little bit, because I think now that JJ's back and all that stuff.
And it's the finale. It's over.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that might be the turning point. But anyway, in terms of this game,
Yeah.
I think it's sort of genericness, and I think they even said like that this didn't even start out as a Star Wars game, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, you didn't see that? I think I don't know if this was an interview or whatever, but yeah, I'm not sure if this actually started out as a Star Wars game to begin with, so maybe that might kind of play into the whole this looks kind of generic feeling that we're getting. So I don't know. Yeah, but I'm kind of sticking to 70-ish era, mid 70s maybe.
Yeah, I want it to be good, but like also we haven't gotten like a really solid Star Wars game in like a decade. So I'm just like cautiously, I wouldn't even say optimistic, just cautious. And I don't know. I want it to be good. I want it to be stellar. I want it to be kick-ass. And I don't know how early in the game that demo took place in. I imagine it's relatively early. And so maybe like the gameplay gets a lot more spruced up the farther you go.
Right. And they also said there's going to be like Metroidvania elements to it too, which that sounds cool.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot working in its favor. And I think if they just, again, it's all about execution.
Yeah.
You have a really good premise and you can fuck it up easily.
Yeah, definitely.
But and Respawn's a good studio. They haven't messed up yet. Titanfall 1, awesome. Titanfall 2, great. Apex Legends, great. So I mean, they know quality, and
it's true.
You know what I wonder? There's been a huge focus on canonizing stuff.
Yes.
Games.
Yes.
Like no one really cared as much about that prior to
before,
the era, and so they talk about like in the interviews, like, yeah, we have to pass every little thing by the people at Lucasfilms. And I'm just like, now I wonder how many people are left over from the days of the pre-Disney era Lucasfilms. How many are now new people who are trying to control that and stuff?
Yeah.
I just wonder if that's just what caused this sudden shift in Star Wars being this much stranger feeling IP. It just feels very corporate.
Well, I think Battlefront 2 was kind of like the turning point for that, right? Because the whole thing with like, well, that was also partially EA, but like their whole shtick was like, oh, we can't sell skins. We have to sell power because we can't sell you a pink Darth Vader because Lucas or Disney doesn't want that. So yeah, I do think that they have kind of a really big stranglehold on the IP where they kind of don't want to like change anything, and
really frustrating.
Yeah, like let people take some creative liberties with it, man.
Yeah. Especially when you look at like Marvel or someone who's just like, fucking go do whatever you want with Spider-Man.
Yeah, but that's the nature of the comics, right? Because the comics can do whatever they want, so they kind of have that creative freedom.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
I hope for the best, but I really do see it sitting at the high 70s there.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we'll be blown away. Maybe it'll be one of the best games of the year, and I hope it is.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I crave a new Star Wars game that
definitely
really hits the spot. If
few days later, November 19th, Shenmue 3. Do you like Shenmue? You play Shenmue?
That was never a series that I got into. I've played when I got an Xbox, the original Xbox. That was actually the first game I bought was Shenmue 2, and only because the guy at the store was like, "Oh, you gotta play this game. It's like revolutionary." And I remember buying it, and I was like not super impressed with it.
Really?
Yeah, and then I never really dove into the remakes that they did for on current gen consoles.
I did, yeah.
You played those, and they were good.
Yeah, they're solid.
Okay,
It's
good.
my first time playing them.
Interesting. Okay.
Those games, like, they're very niche.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
very niche. So, like, I dug the hell out.
It didn't feel dated to you at all.
There were some aspects of it that were definitely dated, but like more so like voiceover graphically and like maybe like a few of the controls, but like the actual gameplay itself, I'm like, you could make this today. I feel like
Wow.
It's just it appeals to a certain group of people. It's not
Very good. Very nice. Okay. Shit. Maybe I should give that another try then.
Maybe if you want. I don't know. So, like there are some people who are just like, I fucking hate Shenmue.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's my kind of thing.
Nice.
That said, I know critics don't always. Well, I remember like the first two. Those are definitely games that reviewed well when they came out originally.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean they were revolutionary. I think for their time.
Yeah, for sure. And so now, I think maybe critics have been like very not positive looking back on that series. Maybe. So I don't know if it'll review well. And there's been all sorts of controversies revolving around this specific game over the last few years for various reasons. Like, it has a Kickstarter, but they have a publisher, and there's like you don't get the pre-order items if you back the Kickstarter, so you have to pre-order the game if you want to get the pre-order bonuses that people got for pre-ordering through the store. And it's on Epic Games store.
Oh yeah, that's the big mess, right? That's Steam people kind of got. I mean, I think they said they're going to offer refunds for those.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe it's not even confirmed.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's news to me.
But I mean, either way, that's so. I would imagine that's going to sneak into reviews as well.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things happening.
And another funny thing that I saw a lot of people commenting on, because I guess there was a trailer recently that released, right? I think they had one at E3.
Yeah.
Oh, playable. Okay. But I think a lot of people were like noticing the like janky facial animations.
Yes, I was gonna say that too.
And so some people were like, "Oh man, this looks great," because they're emulating the old style like animation. But some people were like, "Oh well, I can't believe that they didn't update this for 2019."
Yeah, there's the game has a little bit of a weird look to it, so I'm sure people will criticize that. And
yeah.
I don't know how it controls. I didn't get to play it. That was one of my first games that I was scheduled to play at E3.
Oh really?
It got canceled at last minute for various reasons. And I was like really disappointed because I wanted to play it. So I didn't get to go and play it. But I have no idea how it controls it. It could control like ass, like the first.
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully they've got people who know how to make a modern game while still retaining that Shenmue feel.
Yep.
Even then, just knowing the series, I'm going to say it's going to land in the mid-70s.
Mid-70s? Yeah. I would say maybe high 60s, mid-70s.
Yeah. I hope not, but like I said, I like Shenmue, so I would hope it's better than that. But it could be better than that to me, because like I said, it just depends on who you ask about Shenmue. Some people just really don't like it. So
Yeah.
It could be a game that's gets not the best scores from some critics, but really appeals to the fans of the series.
Right.
You never know. All right. Final
Oh man,
game here.
starting with Bethesda and ending with Bethesda.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that. Final game here. There might be other games that get other release dates throughout the year, but for now, this is all we have.
This is our cutoff.
Yeah, November 22nd, Doom Eternal. I'm going high 80s.
High 80s. I was gonna
80s,
say,
90s.
I was gonna say high 80s, definitely, or low 90s for me. I mean, looks rad first of all,
Yeah.
and it just looks more of just Doom. What made
Yes.
Doom the original, or not the original, but
Yeah.
the
Doom 2016.
yeah, exactly. What made that game super fun and super well received, and just more of it. So I can't imagine this game reviewing
Yeah.
worse than that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah. Granted, obviously I didn't get to play it. I did not go to E3 or anything like that. But just looking at that
Kicks
gameplay,
ass.
my God. Oh, you played it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you? Did you review the first game, 2016?
I did not.
Do you remember the whole thing that happened with that game, review
Yeah.
wise?
Yes, that they didn't. Bethesda doesn't give review copies until launch, right?
Yeah, they like handed it out at midnight.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes.
I remember that. 'Cause
Yeah, that was like
I was on another site. And that's
that
when it
was
came out.
like I think that was the start of that policy
But
for
they
them.
never really continued that policy because since then we've still gotten games. Like,
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, so that was like huge red flags for everybody. Like, oh man, this
really
game
good.
must be shit.
Yeah. I remember being really pissed off though because not because like I don't care if we get review copies. When you do get a review copy, like right when the game comes out, you're like, you gotta really like sit down and push through
Well,
it.
you're
And
rushing,
it's-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's agonizing. And
Not to mention, it's also kind of like dickish to the consumer, really, because the consumer is obviously reliant on impressions before the game comes out. Like
yeah,
they want to be informed on day one. Like, do I go buy this game or not? So, like, their policy was super strange. Like, I did not understand the thought process
the
behind
most
that
bizarre
whatsoever.
thing.
Yeah.
And I think it even continued into Skyrim, but I remember some of you they had the remaster later that year.
Oh, Skyrim, I can tell you. Oh, wait, remaster. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Skyrim. That was way earlier, but we did get that early.
The remaster.
No. I was
Oh,
thinking about the original. Yeah.
Okay. I remember they had that policy still in place, and then like some YouTubers were playing it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You don't really need to review like
those
Skyrim
influencers.
remasters. Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? But like since then, probably that was like the last one, maybe. They've released a bunch of other games since then. We got them all early. Like we got Wolfenstein 2, we got Evil Within 2, we got Rage 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Prey, we got all those games like ahead of release. So like that was such a weird thing that they were like.
Yeah.
They came out.
Maybe they
and
realized
said
it
publicly, like, we're not doing this. And yeah, maybe they did realize, but like still, they never like really backtracked on it. They
Yeah.
just kept it quiet.
Yeah.
So
And it was a dumb policy. Everyone knew it. So
yeah, it was weird. Anyways, Doom Eternal. I think it's going to do really well. Like I played it at E3. I was just having a ball. I wanted to just play it again when I was done. Like, you got the shotgun. There's a grappling hook inside of it, and you can use it to shoot into like a demon and pull yourself closer, and then punch their head off.
nice.
Shoot them as you're flying towards them, and there's some cool platforming and lots of awesome guns, and I love the like kind of meta game of having to use specific weapons or techniques and stuff to spawn pickups like health and armor and stuff. Like you gotta do the glory kills to get more health, and I forget how it was in the Doom Eternal demo, but there was something you needed to do specifically to get more armor, and so it's this like strategic thing. It's not very mindless. You have to use your head because if you're just like you're not really gonna get very far, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but like it's also really fun to be like, oh my god, I'm low in health. I gotta shoot a guy to get him low in health, and then beat his head off, and then maybe do that a few more times.
Right.
It's really fun. It's there's no other shooters out there doing it like Doom does right now.
Yeah.
And so
because it's very old school, but at the same time, like with the whole like
fresh.
glory kills, it's definitely modernized.
Yeah, it's
a good mishmash.
like
Yeah.
of incredible sense of old school Doom with a modern shooter that really like it's better than most shooters. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really ironic because all these shooters were inspired by Doom, and then Doom's like, hold our beer.
Yep.
We're gonna kick your ass and show you how to make a
That's so
fucking
true.
video game. All right.
That's so true.
So yeah, I cannot wait for the game to come out. I think it's gonna do really well. Everyone's really excited for it. I remember like people were really trepidatious about Doom 2016. For various reasons, because Doom 4 was canceled, right? And
That's right. That's right.
that was like a really that was not going to be good. Like there was some weird stuff going on with that game
Mm-hmm.
they were doing, and like people were like, no, do not make that game. And then Doom 2016 was in development for a while. Nobody heard anything, and they showed it behind closed doors at like a QuakeCon or something. People really liked it. People were like, well, we want to see it too. And then they showed it next year at E3, and they had a big demo, but like there was something about it that felt really slow and offbeat.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I do remember that the reactions to that first like public unveiling were pretty negative.
Yeah,
overall.
so
Yes.
very nervous about
Uh-huh.
that game going into it, and then again, reviews not coming out at
Mhm.
once.
Yep.
You had to wait until after the game came out, days after the game came out, to find out what critics thought. So people were like, this game's probably gonna be bad. And then it came out, and everyone's like, this is one of the best shooters ever made.
Yeah.
And it was just like awesome. And I don't know if Bethesda was unconfident about it or if it was just weird marketing or what happened there, but they've been really leaning into the marketing on this one. They're like, we know what we've got now, and we are going to go all out.
Hell yeah.
This game is gonna be the shit. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, I think that does it for this list. Any closing thoughts?
It's a good second half of the year.
Yeah, I would say so. I know people were really nervous about there not being anything in the second half of the year for some reason. I don't know. Feels pretty.
Well, I also think because like March 2020 is also so stacked.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of the E3 trailers were all basically like early 2020. So maybe that's also where it stemmed from.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty good. Looking pretty good. But I like something for everyone.
I agree. Yeah, a lot of blood and gore, a lot of family friendly stuff.
Yep.
Whatever you want, they got it.
Exactly.
What do you think would be like? I think there's five Game of the Year nominations. What do you think would those might look like this year?
Ooh.
Just take a wild guess.
Oh man. Well, Death Stranding because
Yeah,
I know
just
nothing
see
about
what
it, and
makes out with-
yeah, exactly. And just because of its bizarre nature. I mean, from this list or overall? Because
Overall,
what big came out this year that I'm forgetting?
Division 2.
Yeah, I don't see that getting on a Game of the Year.
I don't know.
As much as I think they deserve it because goddamn the sequel was so good compared to the first
yeah,
game.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
What else coming up this year?
I think I'd have to do a little bit of a deeper dive into.
Plague Tale, Days Gone, Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, Metro Exodus. Those are the big ones.
I mean, nothing from that
Yeah,
screams
I agree.
gaudy material. I mean, maybe for me, like I like some of those games, obviously, but yeah, looking at the gaming scene at large, I none of those really say. I mean, especially when I think of like God of War, which was last year's game of the year for everybody. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know.
There were some more obvious picks last year, like God of War and Red Dead.
Exactly, yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I maybe not even like a full list, but if I had to put a couple in there right now, I'd probably say they're all coming out later this year. But maybe Borderlands 3, Death Stranding, and Doom.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah, I would say.
It'd be nice to see Borderlands 3 on in the consideration for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Borderlands 2 was in those talks when it came out because it was like really well received. So
Yeah.
I can see that happening. I don't know. It's a weird year, kind of. There's no real surefire bets on here. Like,
Yeah.
One or two, but like there's some where like I could see them going either way.
Yeah.
Whereas like last year, with, like I said, Red Dead, God of War, those were like back to back.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like no brainers. No brainers.
It was like these games are gonna get knocked out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
Next year we'll probably have a little more of that with Cyberpunk and The Last of Us.
Right.
Next year.
Yes.
Rumors February next year.
Yeah.
That rumor keeps getting circulated by like some reputable people, so I imagine that's going to happen. So Last of Us, Cyberpunk, Dying Light 2, a bunch of other cool stuff that's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this week comes out. We'll revisit this briefly probably at the end of the year. See how it all turned out. But until then, I think we'll cut it off here. We'll come back next week. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but we'll find something.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it work. Comic-Con is happening right now.
That's right.
We can maybe talk a little bit about that. They just did the Avengers panel earlier. They didn't release the footage online, but they did say the Avengers footage is coming 1 week after Gamescom in August. So.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
Yeah. They talked a little more about it, shared some details. So if anything, we can talk about some stuff there. Maybe fill it in with cool nerdy movie shit, like the trailer for Top Gun.
They did, and man, it looks good.
Hell yeah! Tom Cruise flying a jet.
What more could you possibly want?
It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the best.
I'm sure Matt will also have some Space Jam news next week.
Yeah, he's been DMing me stuff just throughout like the year, just like, hey, look at this. I forget.
He was like, make sure you mention that Space Jam 2 has like a new director. And I was like, you know what? I'll save that for you next time because I would not do that justice. So
July 11th, he DM'd me. Huge news! Don Cheadle jumps into Warner Brothers' Space Jam 2.
Oh man, bless him.
So we'll get him back. Maybe Comic-Con will hold some news for the Space Jam sequel.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
We can only hope, right?
Yeah, I think it comes out in 2021, but they are shooting it, I think, like right now, I think.
Nice.
I feel like I've seen some stuff.
Nice.
I don't know. All right, so with that all said, we'll wrap it up here.
Cool.
Mike, where can they find you?
On the Twitters at my whole name, Michael Splechta, MichaelSplechta.
I like your demeanor. You can find me on Twitter as well at Cade_Onder, CADE_ONDER. Obviously, articles. GameZone. I got a review coming for a Turtle Beach headset this next week. Because I don't know what to talk about.
Very nice. Oh, and hopefully by next week we might sound a little bit better too. I think these mics should be on the way. So that should be pretty good.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get those. I think that's all there is to say. So until next time, we'll see you next week. Hopefully Matt will be here to talk our ears off about Space Jam. Thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can be instantly notified.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Hit that bell.
Oh man, we're so hip.
Oh, we're so do all that. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care. Do what you want. But if you like us, hopefully see you next week.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.